Hey everybody, Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're on location in San Luis Obispo, California at the Ernie Ball Music Man headquarters. And what a treat for you bass players. We're going to look at the history of this company's great basses. And I've got a man who knows an awful lot about them here with me. Dudley, how are you, sir?
Very good.
Good to see you. Thanks for taking us through these historic tours through a lot of the stuff in the vault. What do we have here today?
This is called Old Smoothie, and that has a lot to do with the sound of the bass. This is a bass that was made by Leo Fender for Sterling Ball back in his teenage days when they were prototyping the StingRay bass, and Sterling used to hang around. Uh, it's got a special pickup here that has the strings in between the pole pieces. You can see it, even though it's a four-string bass, it's got 5 pole pieces in each coil, and it's actually handmade by Leo. The burst around the edge is more of a brownish color than the typical black three-tone sunburst, and we're planning to do some instruments in the near future that are kind of replicating more of this type of sunburst with the smaller center, wider burst on it, and the more brownish colors. The whole story with Ernie Ball buying the Music Man Company, for those who aren't aware, there's a long-standing relationship between Ernie and Tom Walker, who was one of the main people involved in Music Man. Tom worked for the Fender Company way back as far as the 40s or 50s when they became, or actually went into business doing all of this. And Tom was a sales manager. He designed a number of electronic products for Fender. Tom was the guy who designed the Music Man amplifiers, which a lot of people don't know. And a wonderful guy who worked for Ernie Ball for several years after we bought the Music Man Company and taught me a lot. This nameless StingRay bass here, which is the very first instrument that Ernie Ball assembled when they bought the Music Man Company. And as you can see, we've learned a little bit about finishing since this one was made. It's a little on the crispy side, but
It's a significance historically.
it is a piece
Just
of history all the same. And this was actually put together before I came on the scene, but it was one of the first instruments I saw when I arrived in San Luis Obispo. Ernie Ball bought the Music Man Company in March of 1984, and I came to work for the company in May. So I've been here for most of this time, but this bass actually predates me. Then we have over here the 20th anniversary version of the Music Man StingRay bass. So this is bass that we did in 1996, and a number of different features. This is the first StingRay that we did for production that had figured maple top on it, and that's something that's kind of evolved into a few other limited edition instruments that we've done. But as you can see, it's got kind of a unique tortoise pickguard that has no screws on it. It's adhered very much like an acoustic guitar pickguard.
looks like the edges are rounded off too.
Yes, and the absence of the chrome control plate, we just wanted to show as much of the beautiful top as possible. And of course, this has the newer style bridge without the mutes on it. This is back when we had the recessed pocket for the plate and the control cover and battery cavity. Oil finish on the neck, which is of course beautiful bird's eye maple. A saber bass. Since we don't make the saber bass anymore, sometimes it gets forgotten, but this is the other model of bass that Music Man made at the time Ernie Ball bought the company, and so we like to pull this out every once in a while. This particular one is a custom saber that was made with a normal saber neck pickup, but it has a StingRay bridge pickup. And then the typical preamp here with the 3-band EQ, treble, mid, bass, and also the early bridge with the mutes on it. It's finished in this sort of baby blue color. Obviously went to a few gigs with Sterling, but it's got a lot of love in it. This is the Classic Series StingRay 5, and we've redesigned the 5-string bridge here so that it has the mutes as the early 4-string did. And this was done specifically for this instrument. We've also gone back to the string through the body string loading. We kept the 6-volt neck plate on this model because we really feel it does a much better job than any of the previous early versions. And as you can see, it also features a highly figured bird's eye maple neck. And we finished that with kind of a vintage aged yellow tint in the finish. So it looks very vintage right out of the box. The original StingRay 5 pickup with the Alnico pole pieces, tortoiseshell pickguard, and like the original StingRay bass, it doesn't have any contours on the front or the back. And of course, the original 1987 designed StingRay 5 bass had the bevels around the top, like the Silhouette guitar. And so we've kind of gone retro on this one and done just a radius top and back. This is not only the bongo bass, but this is the bongo 6 bass, which is the latest version that we've designed. And the bongo bass was kind of a collaborative effort between Ernie Ball and the BMW Design Works company. Back in the early 90s, Sterling discovered that BMW had a design facility in the San Fernando Valley that did design on a lot of other products. The thought was that the more they knew about all kinds of other products that were on the market, the better job they could do designing cars. And one of the things that they were working on a lot back in the day was cell phone design. So Sterling talked to them and asked them if they would be interested in doing some guitar concept drawings for us, and of course they were all over it. They made a number of different drawings for us, actually 4 completely different models, and that included not only shapes but some conceptual ideas with regard to hardware and really the way the guitar was constructed, including different materials to use to make the bass. And they came to the NAMM show one year and went all through it and checked out every instrument they could find, and it was pretty interesting seeing a bunch of car designers at the NAMM show. But they came up with a concept drawing which is very similar to this. We've proportionally had to change a few things just to make it work as a properly engineered guitar. But the idea of the bongo bass and the sweeping design, the way it balances, this is the only bass that Music Man's made that has 2-octave neck, 24 frets. The headstock also was redesigned and still has the familiar Music Man 3-in-1, 4-in-2, or 5-in-1 in the case of the 5-string bass, because we do make 4-, 5-, and 6-string models. But cosmetically, completely different bass. We also redesigned the pickup, which uses neodymium magnets, and we redesigned the preamp, which runs on 2 batteries, so 18 volts. And so the bass has very potent output. It's got a lot of EQ, and as some people pointed out here earlier today, it's something that really requires the user to gain some knowledge as to how to run the EQ just to get all of the wide variety of sounds out of the bass that are capable without overdriving an amplifier, because it really does have much higher output than your average bass.
Well, Dudley, thanks so much for this tour of these basses. It's been very cool. I sure appreciate it.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
Thanks. I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.